you have to know your stuff, really. That's number one thing. For people who are doing what we do in the tech space,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Design, development, and all that stuff. You have to know your stuff. I don't care whatever the economic is saying. I don't care whatever amount of layoffs are out there. If you know your stuff, trust me, you're going to do just fine, right? Anybody. So you have to know. So
You
you
just
really
just
have to know someone that have a connection
ouch.
to before you get to attend. So I mean, most of the time I'm always at no tech events, just practical, trying to stay connected with online communities um or events that I find on Twitter. Basically just try to connect with people. A lot of master classes are
Mm.
out there, and I don't get bored with all that stuff in the same. So.
Makes sense. Like tell me, you like you are based in Ife, so like this now, if you marry now, there all of Nagogarati. I say in Akure, now there all of Nagogarati.
Thing is, I actually, if I have to relocate, I don't think it will be anywhere within Nigeria, because it's just crazy. Everywhere is either too expensive or it's less comforting. So when you find that balance between where it's not too expensive and it's comfortable for you, I feel
Mm.
like why do I have to relocate? Ondo here is a Akure here is a very comfortable place. No too much traffic like Lagos. Not too
Mhm.
expensive like Abuja. Just somewhere in the middle. And you find out
Exactly.
I'm just happy about it. Like you can basically get a 2 bedroom flat here for around 250 to 300,000 naira. And
Mad.
everywhere is a close proximity to the market or the mall, or just major places you can easily navigate your way, even if you don't have a car. So I just love that comfort, and I really don't see the
That's
reason why I
that's
move to
dope.
Lagos or Abuja. Yeah.
That's more. It's always very, very similar to this Ife. Only that in Ife houses are slowly becoming expensive. But like it's very similar to what we have here in Ife. Maybe Akure is the next place I'll move to. I'm looking
You
to
know
relocate after.
what's it? Akure has an airport, so you want to go to Lagos, you can easily just
Straight
book
up,
a move.
imagine.
Yeah.
Guy, I'm looking to relocate maybe after like maybe like 1.5 year or 2 years. And I'm thinking maybe I was thinking maybe Ibadan. But right now, maybe Akure. I'll try Akure first before I go to other places. This is like a nice place. Yeah.
No, you should just hit me up whenever you want to, come and say. Just you might even decide you want to come and spend probably a week before you, just to see things around and all that stuff. I'll hook you up.
Thank you. Thank you. Namaste. Namaste.
I
Yeah.
love your shirt, by the way, 24 pixels.
Thank you. Do you want one? Do you want one? There's one for you. I print one for every one of my guests. So you want this one?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Probably on a gray background. Yeah, it's really lovely.
Like you gray shirt, Abby. And
Gray
okay.
24 pixels share, okay. With a black font. It's different.
Okay. Dope. You have it. It's done. Done.
I,
Whenever I'm done with it, I will find a way to like send it to Akure. Done.
yeah, cool stuff. Cool stuff. Thanks,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. So welcome to the podcast. I already started recording. So this podcast, for the people listening, my name is David, and this is not just design podcast. This is the second for this year, and I'm really happy because now we have a sponsor, and our sponsor is Nairuption. So let me tell you about Nairuption. So Nairuption is a founded by Musa Obed, and the single goal for Nairuption is to inform Nigerian youths. They write articles that youths can read and relate with, and they tell political news, economic news in a way that you will not find it boring. And that's what Narration does. You can go to their website, narration.com, and I really, really, really have been following them for like the last 5 years. And it's really fun. Their product, like the whole scale of narration, all their case studies. They have a podcast with startup founders in Nigeria, all their economic news, their business analysis that they all do on their website. It's fun and it's nice. and I really relate with it. So yes, now, so moving on to the main thing today. Tell me, the main gist is, I want to hear your take on like how you imagine this whole design space to be this year, how you think like we'll be able to like scale through it. It's going to be an election year. And for most people, at least for a large majority of designers, this is like one of the first times where everybody's mostly involved in like the politics of Nigeria, and there's news about like the inflation and job losses. There's so much instability that everybody's confused. I just want to hear you talk like predictions and all of that. But before we get into that, just right, I want to know more. Like honestly, I just want to know more about like how are you here? how how tech guy, I know you must have told this story many times, right? So tell it to me the most interesting way you've not told it before.
Yeah, so I think that's actually a very interesting question, and I think I have an interesting journey to share as well. So basically, I went to Ududa University. Just FYI, shout out to everybody from Ududa University that
Yeah,
is going
yeah, the same school, the same school.
I need to be listening to this podcast. So back then in OUI, I know there's a lot of improvement over there. Back then, there was no tech community, right? So we basically are just computer science students doing the bad boy shit, yeah? Just the OG computer science. The guy who did computer science is cool. He dressed nice and all that stuff. But I mean, I have a couple of friends as well who used to move to OAU just to participate in tech events. They were pretty good getting it. And I just want to be like those guys. So, I mean, I started showing interest in, the things they were doing. I never made one of those trips to OAU to go and attend tech event. I was probably partying, swimming, or other stuff. But I have people who always advise me, learn a skill in tech. I think you'll be very good at this and all that stuff. So, I mean, I had that mindset that
Wait. Sorry.
do you know
Okay.
do you want me to
You can go
cycle back
on.
to continue? I can
Eh?
like start all over again if you want
No,
me
no,
to.
no, no, no. I'll edit it out.
All right, awesome. So basically I've always had people tell me you really be good at this. But one thing they don't tell me is what you'll be good at. So that's like something I needed to find out by myself, right? So I started exploring different things in the tech space. I started learning Python. Imagine someone just coming into tech and the first thing you are doing out is Python. Guy, you wonder, you don't even know
I
you don't
swear.
even know you don't even know the basics of writing syntax and all that stuff, how object-oriented programming or data structure and all that. So I had
Straight to
that,
Python.
yeah, straight to Python. Like I just I just went straight to Python. Like, I got bored after like a month trying to understand basic syntax, and yeah, I know that is basically knew that wasn't it for me. So I started trying out a lot of stuff, but one thing kept, you know, ringing in my head whenever I think about it. There's always a space for you in the tech space. So you have to continue to look. So I continue to look. And I picked up after Python for a while. I learned no code development. By the way, I do WordPress very well because I learned it. I took my time to learn it. So and I'm talking about this is after school. I mean, there was no tech community in school to support my goal, so I couldn't attend tech events. Apart from my guys going to OAU, I remember that. Then after school, then I realized that you need to learn something. You really need to do well for yourself, right? So I started learning. I started with Python. Then I moved to no code, WordPress development. I'm pretty good at that, but I mean that still wasn't sufficient. I feel like I could do more. Yeah, I feel like I have so much potential than just doing WordPress websites for people, right? At some point, I got bored as well. And I'm someone who loves to test a whole lot of things, do a whole lot of things. While I was doing WordPress website for people, I was also doing tailoring in the background. So, I mean, I had a whole lot going on for me, but I just wanted that, space for me within tech that I can say, okay, this is something I'm good at, and bring the job whenever. I'm going to do it for you, and I want to continue to progress in this field. So, just shortly after I learned WordPress, I know there's no way you will be interested in that kind of stuff, you would want to know more. So I started doing HTML, CSS, then a little bit of
Mm-hmm.
JavaScript on the side. So I mean, pretty much doing that, learning that. But I mean, it got to a point when I was trying to learn JavaScript that I mean, I just got
JavaScript don't hang you.
yeah, yeah. I mean, when I got to ESS 6 and I think trying to communicate to the backend and all that stuff, and I got really, 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 really bored. So and that was it for me for about 2 years. I stopped anything in tech. I was just hustling, tailoring by the side and all that stuff. So
But you went far.
yeah, so I mean, part of my tech journey that I didn't really, that I mostly don't pay attention to is when I enrolled for my master's. And because my undergraduate days, I didn't have a tech community. I was specific about the school I wanted to, do my master's because I feel like it is going to impact my tech journey. I'll have a community. I will have people I can talk to, and I would, be able to contribute in a little way, right? Connect with people as well within the tech space. So I chose Landmark, and I feel like they have a great tech community because my brother was once an alumni in that school. He spoke pretty much about, their Google Developer Circle. He spoke about the hackathons they do in the school. He spoke a lot about, how, the school have a reward system for basically, the people that do well in tech and all that stuff. So it really got me interested. It was a little bit expensive, private school in Nigeria, a little bit expensive, but they were just starting us back then. So it wasn't as expensive as other private universities. So I enrolled for my master's. Then, I started attending tech communities. I wasn't even paying attention to school stuff. I wasn't really interested in that. I just wanted to know what I was doing this time around, connect with this
Yeah.
guy. Even though I was older, these guys were like writing bots, like they were coding stuff within in the school, right? And those kind of thing really amazes me. I had the opportunity to like share some of my experiences with the guys, and they were happy to help me. They referred a couple of courses to me and all that stuff. So that was really how the tech journey started. So I already have people who are willing to help. I knew what I wanted to do just a little bit. I knew I wanted to go into front-end engineering and understand how the front-end thing works.
Mm-hmm.
Then I started learning in that regard. Then all of a sudden, someone mentioned Figma to me, and I was like, "What's that to
Yeah, that's
you?"
how it starts. That's exactly how it starts. Someone just mention it somewhere. You're like, what's
Yeah,
that? I've not heard that before.
read about Figma, I designed to another stuff. So I met with one guy. His name is Chidima, I think. Oh no, I should share one Igbo guy like that. Very good at what it does. Does XG. And I wanted to write an academic paper, so I needed someone to design something for me. I met with this guy, was using XG. He designed that thing. We published that paper. That paper got accepted in one of the Scopus Index journal. And I was like, whoa.
Mad.
So I was like, so I can actually use this XZ tool to, achieve something in my academic career and all that stuff. So he told me about Figma that I was going to switch to Figma. So I really picked interest in Figma and all that stuff. And with that background knowledge I already have with research as a master's student, I was able to
Yeah.
quickly do what UX research is, on the background, all right. I started, learning all these UX research, all these design methodologies and all that stuff just to keep me going, just to give me the understanding. So I now find myself doing design full time during my master's, right? Matter
Nice.
of fact, the guy that actually did the XD thing for me, by the time I was done with my program, I was like, yeah, I really like my work. That I would love to, you would love to. So
Yeah,
basically,
that's
I
good
needed that
feeling.
connection. I needed to be in the right space. I needed to find that space for me within the tech space. And I'm super grateful that I did. And since then, since 2019, I've basically been doing this.
Yeah, that's dope. Like to imagine that you already like you've gone so deep in learning how to code already. I didn't get that deep, I swear. I didn't get that. You've gone so deep to all the all the JavaScript, everything, and to stop, then come back again. That would be interesting. What did you do for masters?
I did computer science as well. Computer science
Nice,
first degree, computer science second degree.
interesting. I want to do masters too. Now I'm thinking maybe I will do masters in economics or business. Money has been
Yeah,
interesting me lately.
I'm also thinking about pursuing a second master's in business admin actually. Yeah,
Guy,
it's interesting.
you won't carry all the degree.
Yeah, in the end, I feel like academic in a way exposes your mind to what technical stuff would not open your mind to. We can learn a skill, right? Learn front-end engineering, start using it to make money, right? Those are they are in demand skill. But what academic does to you is it helps you see those technical skills, right? It helps you recognize which one to do, what to do, how to do it, right?
Mhm.
While technical skill are actually doing it, but there's a whole lot of complexity that goes behind the scene. It's just like running a business, right? Running a tech startup. It's not just about writing code. It's not just about doing design. It's not just about the product management. You have to understand the business of things. You have to understand how to pitch your idea to
Yeah, yeah, I
so you
agree.
have to know a whole lot of things, right? So I think academic open your mind to that kind of stuff if you know how to apply academic to real life situations. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't kick against you, pursuing a second degree in business, something related to your skill that will help you on the long run.
Sense. Honestly, I would agree. I would agree to that because recently I was thinking about like a project that would require building like a security system around hardwares. So I did engineering. So right there, I was just all the things that I thought maybe I didn't care about school or when I was doing product design. All of that was inside my head. I was thinking about to work with this system will work with C sharp or C++, and they'll use it with Arduino, and the Arduino, is the microcontroller. In my own head, I was just writing these things down. I'm like, wait, I actually, can testify that yes, I'm using school to solve this problem. Me
Yeah.
thinking like I can never use school for this kind of thing. I'm like, I'm using school actually to solve this problem. And it makes sense, it does make sense. Your guys from Landmark, do you still have like contact with them? I have people there, some people.
Yeah, definitely. I'm still in contact with most of the people I connected with back then. Great guys, amazing guys, doing big things in the tech space right now. Couple of them are outside the country, a couple of them still within the country and doing big stuff. Um, I think one thing that has really kept me connected with them is, the need to continually search for opportunity and learn,
Yeah.
right? So I feel like and this is, almost getting into the discussion we're about to have, like the predictions and
Mm.
all that stuff. You have to be able to look into you have to be able to foresee the connection you're trying to make. Is this thing going to be beneficial to me in the future, right? How do I stay connected to this thing? And that's one thing about growing your career that I've learned so far. I'm learning a skill, right? How does this skill actually fit into my future? How does it? Because you have to find that, that's you have to be able to bridge that gap. Okay, in the next 5 years, I want to continue to do design. But what are the things do I need to do in order to be able to continue to do design in the next 5 years? A lot of people don't
Yeah.
think about that. Think about now. So it is important for you as a person to see, okay, I'm connecting with David. How will David be able to help me in the next 5 years? Is David going to be the person that will be on the same progression as I am, or is going to, even be bigger that I'll continue to learn from? So it is very important that I know that. And I think that's one of the things that keeps me connected with people I met during my master's in Landmark.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. This leads me to the next thing like this. What do you think is the fit of product design from let's look at it from the point of salary and pay and like job opportunities. For mostly Nigerian designers here, how would it look like for us this year with your inflation? the election going on in this country. The US are really their debt cap. So like that's why investors are pulling out from different companies. If you check now, the US stock is, fairly looking somehow. So like how would that look like? What do you think?
I think you have to know your stuff, really. That's number one thing. For people who are doing what we do in the tech space,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Design, development, and all that stuff. You have to know your stuff. I don't care whatever the economic is saying. I don't care whatever amount of layoffs are out there. If you know your stuff, trust me, you're going to do just fine, right? That's the number one thing. Number two thing is, as you have to keep in mind, as investors are pulling out, some are also coming in, right? Most
Yeah, that's
startups
true.
are coming up, and also more startups are coming in. So there's always a demand for your skill. There's always a demand for what you do. So it's not about um, a number of layoffs or the differences in the stock and share in comparison with the previous years. You just have to be able to know that, okay, uh, I have to know my stuff, and there's a space for me in this industry. Concerning pay, definitely some of us have had to take pay cuts in the
Mm-hmm.
past couple of months because of the economic meltdown in different parts of the world. And a lot of us have had to take pay cuts, and a lot of us don't even get promises for promotion in the next couple of months. So that's totally fine. The way it is affecting us is the same way it's affecting other people. So those are the blue back we all need to adjust to, right? I don't think it's going to be fair on anybody that they lost their job, or it's going to be fair on anybody that they have to take a pay cut. But it is a career we are building. That shouldn't discourage you as an individual, right? It shouldn't. I don't feel it should stop you from achieving your goals. However, it should even make you. It should drive you to knowing your stuff more, to
Yeah.
learning, to want to get that energy, to want to do more, to the point that you're indispensable. Trust me, there are a lot of guys in the industry that are indispensable, right? When it comes to AR and VR, you want to mention Jose Noah. She understand any company that is coming into, but they want to contact the guy for.
Yeah.
He has got to that point where he's indispensable, right? And I can continue to mention names and names and names like that. Yeah. So when you know your stuff, there is guarantee that you always find something. So you always get something to work on. And that's like my
But
prediction.
but
Yes.
Pelumi, that discussion is tight. So I would not like this to look like bad. This is not actually, it's just discussion. So now some people are indispensable because of we know or we appreciate the amount of work that they have done. So we can see it and we know that this guy is good at their stuff. But
Mm.
could that just be our own point of view on that thing? Like for example, now Zara, at one time, recently, was it like I think last year or so? Zara, yeah, Zara was like, he got laid off. So now Zara is someone who has a whole tech community. He's good. You see what he did with that design for this audio app. I'm forgetting their name. I think it came before Twitter Spaces. They used to do room meetings, like audio meetings. He did that application. He made it. Everything was nice, but the company was working for, they still laid him off, guy. Like
All right.
as good as he was.
I get where this discussion is. So indispensable doesn't mean you are the right fit for the company at the moment, right? And yeah, I say that because I've actually had an experience. So my company, the company I currently work for,
Yeah.
we're two designers working on the project, right? And trust me, at the stage that I was talking about right now, we needed two designer on that particular job. She understand. There's no way one
Yeah.
person could pull it off because we are building a very large system, and you know how it could be, right? But
Mm-hmm.
we're having problem with investors. We're having problem with people coming in and investing in the product. So the company could not afford more than one designer at that particular point in time. They has to lay the other guy off. The other guy was also good at his stuff, right? He was
Yeah, that's
also
another thing to
inexpensive.
consider.
but the organization has to choose between, they have to put both of us on a scale. Okay, this guy is good in UI. This guy is also good in UI, but he also has a knowledge of go-to-market strategy, right? So what are the things that make you stand out, right? Now I'll tell you something. The guy that got laid off is also doing great, in the things he's doing right now. As a matter
Yeah.
of fact, the
Yeah.
things he's doing. And that's where indispensable comes in. That's where indispensable comes in, right? Indispensable doesn't mean you are the right fit for the organization, but indispensable mean when you leave that organization, are you still going to get an equal opportunity out there because you are fucking good at what you do? Sorry for using the
Yeah.
F word.
Yeah, go on. This is my podcast. It's free.
Because you are good at what you do, right? You are indispensable, right? You and I have like a mutual connection, someone within our connection that
Yeah.
if I start to tell you about, I don't even need to mention name. And I'm saying if she lost a job right now, you know that she has made connection within the industry that is going to get her a job. She has a
Yeah.
community to fall back on. If she doesn't have that community, she'll come back on. She has a track record of building a community like that. She can build another community like that she can fall back on. That's indispensable within whatever you're doing, right? It doesn't mean you can't get laid off. It doesn't mean, what is the chances that you're going to get a similar opportunity, if not equal opportunity, to the position you just lost? Do you understand? And that comes
Yeah.
with you knowing your stuff. You mentioned Zara, he got laid off, but he was able to build a community, right? Just shortly after he got laid off. That's because he knows his stuff. He's not just good at his job, he also has experience in a whole lot of other things that even if he does not have a job, he can build on the things he already know. So that's
Yeah.
why I mean indispensable.
Yeah. That's heavy because now I'm thinking, I'm like, I need to, go back and start like learning how to code again. So I can use that as leverage. Because at this kind of position where anybody could get laid off, right? Knowing your stuff is not just knowing how to design. And that's the whole essence of this podcast and this whole YouTube channel. Like it's not just design.
Yes.
I was
So let me quickly say something to
go
that.
on,
So
go on.
one thing that was really funny, late last year there were a lot of layoffs in
Mhm.
Facebook. Yeah, crazy number on Amazon,
Yeah.
1,200 that stuff. A whole lot of people were going crazy. Will I lose my job and and will I still have a job by January and all that stuff? So my company was building their website, right? Like I said, we are currently short on investors, but the company can still continue to run what
Yeah.
we are doing, building our startup and all that stuff. So the company wanted to, I already did my part. I already did the design. Yeah, I'm a designer, I'm a product designer. Bam. But I remember, sorry, and the company needed to actually move that design to development. We need our stuff out there. We need,
Yeah.
sorry, we need our website
One
out there.
moment. Okay. I found this on the web for how.
Sorry.
Siri.
That was Siri just triggering anyway. So the company needed to move the design that were already done on Figma to development phase. And I noticed during the meetings, there were a lot of back and forth about who's going to do the job, do we have funding for it and all that stuff. And immediately my inner survivor's instinct picked up. Like, guy, you remember you learned how to use WordPress back then, right? And it's not just that I know how to design. That's all I have to offer my company. I told them, don't worry about this thing. We are trying to move ourselves to that, stage right now where we can be more valuable as a company. I'm going to pick the website up for my design file and use WordPress to build it. And they agreed to it. She understand. Now
Yeah.
that's making yourself extra valuable, right? Compared to
Yeah.
someone that only does design, you are only good at doing design. You don't know any other thing. She understand. It's very dangerous because when that time comes for an organization to make decisions, they are going to favor someone that knows their stuff more than you. So knowing your stuff does not necessarily mean that thing you're doing. That it doesn't just necessarily mean design. You also have the knowledge of a whole lot of things. And to be honest, all these things, you don't have to go in and start learning from scratch. Do you understand? Like, you don't have to go in and start learning content creation from start. If you had that past experience, leverage on that. Do you understand? You're not just learning from scratch now. Now you're learning with the job. Even if I've forgotten some stuff I did with WordPress back then, picking it up again, I have like an understanding that, okay, this is how this thing should go. If I don't know how to do this, I can easily use Google to, Google stuff and get myself back on track. Same thing, if you bring a project that requires HTML and CSS and a little bit of JavaScript, trust me, I'll still take it on. Why? Because I feel like by taking on that project, I become number one, more valuable, and I'm able to remember things that I must have forgotten in the past. Now, anybody that see me do that will be like, why is it not just focusing on design and this and this and that? No. You can't just be doing one thing as a designer.
Exactly. You can't just rest on only Figma for like the next 3 years and say you won't do any other thing.
You get bored.
Apart from getting bored, you yourself will lose sense of the whole space, the whole tech space itself, because they are all interconnected. If you did like learn one or two things from this thing from Webflow, when there's a situation at work and something you have to design, it's that thought and that idea of like, oh, Webflow does this in this way. I could copy their UI and then like use it here. Just that alone can go a long way. Honestly, it's not just design. I think many people like face this thing, like where they'll be like, they'll just stick to only product design and nothing else. They don't want anything to cross their face. There's also a gray line, right? Because yes, it is not just design. You need to learn other things and like diversify your knowledge a bit. However, focusing on like design for a period of time is helpful, because let's say a beginner starts Zuri now, finish Zuri, and then goes again, start learning how to code. The merely are just coming out from a bootcamp. That is destructive. That's deadly.
I agree with that. So when we were talking about making yourself valuable, indispensable, and all that stuff, it doesn't mean moving from one skill to another. It doesn't help you. Trust me, been there, tried it, didn't work for me. A lot of people been there, tried it, didn't work for them, right? Pick one specific thing you want to learn. That's number one thing. Then grow in it. Very important. It's important that you grow, right? I see a lot of people too switching from one company to the other within their first 2 years of learning a skill. No good for you, right?
That's another topic, I say.
If you can grow within that career space, right? Push your own organization to that point where you feel like you can, as an individual, proudly say that we started this thing together. We were able to push it to MVP together. We were able to get investors together. And now see what the company have become, right? Look at Paystack today. Some people built that company from the scratch, right?
Yes.
From people built that company. Matter of fact, I think there was one guy that spoke to us. The guy works with Skuda. I think he's one of their top product designers. He mentioned on that conversation, he mentioned that he was there when Kuda started. Now he's a senior developer. The mistake most of the young designer out there did was immediately a company start having problems, they are looking for a way out. You understand? They want to quickly move out of that space because they don't want to get affected, right? If you are not getting laid off, there's nothing wrong with you sticking with a product, right? And back to the discussion we're having, right? If you're learning a skill, pick one particular skill, grow in it, grow it to the point you know that, yeah, I'm really good at this stuff. Now, if you don't have prior knowledge that is required where you currently are, there's nothing wrong with you picking up that skill, a related skill to your field that you know will help you stand out. Right now, for my company, I've done a whole lot of stuff. I've done, the same thing with every designer that is working for a startup, right? You do a whole lot of stuff. You do social media, you do
you write copy, you adjust the logo, you will do everything. Everything, basically everything.
Everything in between. most of these things, you don't have to know them. It does not necessarily have to be your number one skill. But your number one skill, you have to be really good at it and grow within that space. That means you taking on extra responsibility. And when you want to take on extra responsibility, keep in mind that you are going to learn, right?
Yeah.
You're going to learn. And like, for instance, currently the startup I'm currently working for, big shout out to them, being we are building an amazing product.
What's the name? What's the name? Mention the name if you have to mention the name. It doesn't matter.
Being HR, we're actually building an human resource software. So it's actually pretty stuff. I can't wait to share it with a whole lot of people.
So you're a dashboard lord now.
Yeah. something like that. Yeah. So like right now we are looking at go-to-market strategy. And remember, during my outreach, I worked with Opia, and they are working on a go-to-market strategy here in Nigeria. Opia is like a learning app, and they're a US company trying to go to market here in Nigeria, right? So I had that understanding from my internship days. This is not even about product design. This is just about understanding the foundational research that has gone into the products, you understanding the markets, you understanding the people, your target audience, and all that stuff, right? I had that understanding from my internship last year. And when, as a company now, we are looking to go to market, right? I easily told them, even though I'm not getting paid, I'm also growing. The same way the company is growing. Look at yourself. Everything's not about money.
That's exactly.
Right? And I told them I have an understanding of go-to-market strategy. Right now, I have an entire document on go-to-market strategy for my own company. They didn't pay me for it. But anybody that sees that document, that this guy is valuable. We should keep this guy.
Exactly. Yeah, I did that. So I did something similar to that. So when I started interning, like I was not an intern, I was a volunteer at Unko. So yeah, there were like other designers because it's mostly volunteers, right? And nobody was getting paid, it was all volunteers. And Unko is like an open source something as well. The thing is, so what happened was there were still volunteers there. So everybody was like volunteering one way or the other. And I was in school. Every time there was a message on Slack, somebody new joined, maybe EJMA did not reply early or something, I would go and like just reply, hey, what's up? How you doing? It's a new designer. I'll talk to them, try to put them through immediately. I was available to the point that everybody in the community at that time knew me. If we join a meeting, I would just reach out like, hey, what's up, everybody? I was just like helping everybody, make sure the place is all cool. It was design. I said it was design related. I was like always there. You need a document. I help you find this document. What do you need? You need onboarding. I can help you onboard you on this thing. I can tell you about this product. I knew so much about what we're building that I could recite it to anybody. So,
very important.
And that was very key. And I was always available. So at that point in time, I think it got to a point where EJMA wanted to have a designer on the team, somebody that will always be available, not a volunteer that is, it's like that could go anytime. And then that's like she reached out and was like, hey David, we're looking to hire somebody on the team. You've always been active, you're like always around, always doing this stuff. You could work for. It was very easy. And at that point, I was always like having other people join. I would pitch this idea like, hey, let's do this. I know these people, I know this community. We could reach out to this community and let them use the products. We could all of that, but because of like external things and like the added value to what I was bringing.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So yeah, your availability is key. Trust me. And understanding the product to the core is very, very important.
Exactly. Understanding it where you say if you preach them.
If you preach them, you can preach, you can write a case study off your head from what you're already know.
Exactly.
Very important. So one thing you should know is my current full-time job, I was a contract. I was freelancing, basically.
It's true. I was going there. I have it here. How did you get into being HR?
All right. Good stuff. So I mean, the also was real last year, basically. Like I just got out of the bank FYI, like I used to work in a bank, yeah, and I left my bank job because it was actually affecting my design journey. I really wanted to do design and all that. So I left my bank job. So the hustle was real. At the beginning of last year, I basically didn't have
That's real
any.
determination. Pelumi, that's hardcore determination, guy.
So I didn't have anything. The 70,000 naira I had saved in the bank when I was leaving the bank. I used it to register for PEX Design School. Big shout out to PEX Design School. Gave me a lot of understanding about just designing UI, and yeah, amazing school. So I used that 70,000 naira to pay for PEX Design School, and I had nothing. So the only thing I had was learn design, push my stuff out there for people to see. So I was designing every week. If you know me back then, like every
Yeah,
2 weeks, rolling out case study,
back to
math,
back.
mad stuff. So I was everywhere: Twitter, Instagram. I was on LinkedIn, just posting my work, right? And just couple of gigs in. These guys reached out to me on Twitter for about 1 week. I didn't respond. They went to my BNs, reached out to me, and they were building this amazing product, and they would like me to come on board as a designer. Blah blah blah. We started having that discussion, and turns out they only wanted me as like they just wanted to give me the gig, just like a regular gig. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I got the gig. I won't mention the price. Yeah, pretty cool money. Yeah, dope money. I was like, for someone that just quit their job and money, boom, I don't have a. So
It
I
will be
mean,
like miracle, no, the tired Jesus.
you understand the story, yeah? So I mean, I started pushing that pixel. We finished the first sprint. The first sprint was meant to last for 2 weeks, and the second sprint for another 2 weeks. The gig was supposed to finish in about 2 months maximum. So 2 weeks we finish the first sprint, we build the entire system admin, good stuff. Then we now enter the second sprint, right? The same amount of money that I charged that I thought was big. So when we enter the second sprint, first month went, second month went, third month went. The money that was big in my eyes, guy, I don't finish that money.
The money don't go.
Yeah. So I mean, the guys I'm working with, amazing guys. Trust me, I'll forever be grateful to those guys. So I had a discussion with them that see, we have to renegotiate this contract. I'm getting frustrated. This project is bigger than what you and I envisaged when we had this discussion 4 months ago. So I mean, we sat down, we dialogue, we had a discussion. I told them that I love the progression we are going. You guys love what I do for you. You love my job and all that stuff. I'd love to come on board as a full-time employee. So they were like, they don't really have like the budget to employ a designer full-time that will know all this stuff. But I mean, I'm really good at what I do. So they don't mind keeping me as a full-time employee. And by the time we, had that discussion back and forth, no, there was not even back and forth. It was just like a standard discussion, because these guys are like, trust me, I don't want to go into details about who this is. These are the real tech bros, yeah. So we had like that discussion. They had the understanding of the industry and all that stuff. And I came out with a good deal. Trust me, better than someone who has been doing design for the past 2 years. So they gave me that deal for as a full-time employee, and I've been with them since then. So it started off as a gig. And they liked the work I did because I did an excellent job, and they brought me on board as a full-time employee. So that was
Crazy
like,
stuff.
yeah.
That's nice. How do you feel when you're pitching to them that you want to renegotiate this salary?
Yeah, so it's from a place of confidence that you have been a very great designer. I've been a very great designer. I was very confident. Matter of fact, they brought me in from Akure to Lagos. They are actually supposed to book a flight for me and all that stuff. So they brought me in from Akure to Lagos to talk about the contract, basically. Like we sat on a very
So this thing they happen true. Hey, God, I beg.
Yeah,
That's
so they
nice.
sat in a very nice restaurant. We have a discussion, like an extensive discussion about, what's the, now I'm coming on as a full-time employee. So they told me about what the new role will entail, which is basically what I was still doing. And as a startup, I have to get involved in other stuff as well, just based on my experience in the past. Not compulsory, but everybody has to like contribute at their topmost capacity, just to ensure that we get to that stage where we can be proud of the products we have built here. So I understood that, yeah. Normally, even if I wasn't initially a contract staff, these are things that are expected of you
Yeah.
if you are coming on board as a employee. So I mean, the discussion was awesome. And yeah, big shout out to my mentors, Gideon Ogukola, Miss Vic, and a whole lot of amazing people in the industry. I reached out to them when I was going through all that stuff. That okay, this project was supposed to end a month, and now we're in the first month, and they are like, "This is you should have a discussion with these guys." And as God will favor me, I had that discussion with them with confidence. Like, okay, yeah, you guys like my
Yeah.
job, no doubt. I already have an understanding of these products. You say, yeah, I already said B, C, D, E, F, G, H. So they know that I know, I have the drive, I have the passion. So when I was pitching it to them, it was easy, kind of. So they themselves, they were very interested in the discussion because they knew they had exceeded the
Yeah.
contracts signed in it. So we were interested in the conversation, and it's guided it to the point where we're able to reach a common ground. Okay, yeah, you are going to get this pay.
Mm-hmm.
You are going to get a certain
So
percentage
Pelu,
in the and all that stuff. So I mean,
ah, that's nice. That's a nice deal. I'm already hearing equity. That's a nice deal.
yeah. Although it got me confused at one point. I was like, nah, I don't really need to buy it and that stuff. It wasn't even really this thing. When I got the contract and I was like I saw this thing, the percentage, even though it was really small, I don't care. I was just like, damn, the love of the art is enough for me, and I'm getting paid. So
The love of the arts is enough for me. I need to write that down and print it. The love of the art is enough. Yeah.
and I'm getting paid, include that.
I'm getting paid. Yeah, I'm getting paid is important, guy. Because maybe equity go use buy bread. If you
Yeah,
go
nah.
tell person with the celebrate, say, I'll give you equity in my company. Just give me bread.
Just give me that. No, nah, bro.
You go
No,
feel it.
very important.
Yeah, I feel you, guy. That's a nice deal, really. So, right now, what's your take on this thing? Me personally, I believe startups in Nigeria, like they are startups. If you look at any startup movie, if you read any startup story, these guys will tell you they work weekends and overnights. And if you're working for a startup, definitely they will call you at night. They will call you to do something over the weekend. It's just a startup, and that is part of it. There's no strong structure to it. Do you feel it's it's a fair game since it's startup and you're getting into the fact that it's a startup? You should be expecting things like that, and it's not what all the fuzz of people saying it's a startup. Don't call me on the weekend. Don't call me after 5. That kind of gist.
So I remember earlier we spoke about understanding the products you are working on.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond that, so the happy space, the happy co-working space, the happy employee environment you want actually lies in understanding that everything will not always go your way. And it is a job. It will require more from you, right? It is a
Yeah.
job. You have to understand the people you are working for. They have a dream, and they are, as much as possible, trying to bring that dream to life. Why not be a part of that dream, right? So one day yourself, you want to build your dream. I have to understand that building it is not easy. You require people to go extra mile as much as they are putting in the efforts for you, right? So you need to have that understanding. As someone working for a startup, you need to put in extra work, or else the products you are building will not be relevant in the end. We are all fighting
Mm-hmm.
for
That's
relevance
true.
in this space, right? If you want to do something, do it with your entire ass. Do you understand?
I
Know
see.
that, know aware that you are pushing this company from this place to this place. from minimum to maximum.
Exactly.
And trying to push a company from a minimum to a maximum, it requires everybody's effort, extra effort. You want to move, you will definitely work extra hours. You will definitely work at times that are not convenient for you. There are some times that I have had to cancel some trips. There are some times that I have to, work extra hours, just to ensure that we get this thing to where we need to get it to. You should understand
Yeah.
at the time to get it there. So it's very important we have that understanding. Yes. And there's also one very important thing. Startups are startups, right? They might either fail or they may succeed at what they do. So it's a gamble, right? But
I
when you
see.
are when you want to stake in that environment where you know something might succeed or something might not, right? Be very, very sure that you know the product you are building has that prospect to succeed, right? You know that product has that interesting thing, that wow factor that when you push it out there, people are going to use it. And that is where it comes in to know the products you are building, know your products. When as a designer, when you know the products, you know everything that's gone into the foundational research, you know the target audience. Trust me, making that staking, having that high stake, right?
Yeah.
That product is going to succeed. You already know it that okay, yeah, this product is going to, make sense in the end. So I might as well put in my efforts. I might as well put everything I have. And even if it doesn't now succeed, you have something to hold on to, which is the experience, right? The experience will
Mm-hmm.
take you away. You have built some amazing things that you can always show off. Trust me, on being HR alone, I did the website with over 25 pages, right? I've built different modules that I can go ahead and publish case studies. I can go ahead and show
Yeah.
recruiter. You understand? I can go
Yeah.
ahead and own it as something that I worked on from scratch.
Exactly. Something that you are part of.
Yeah, exactly. Something that I'm part of, right? And I'll do it with so much confidence that you'll be convinced that I'm an expert in this area. She understand?
Yeah.
So as you're doing it, know that you're becoming an expert and know that one day it will become valuable for you, even if you don't succeed. But be very sure that that stake is high on the succeeding side before you take that gamble.
Yeah. That's true. That's very true. Like if you take a gamble on a startup that is probably doing something mid, or like is how I see it's like the leadership team. I think a good startup is what a good team is. If
Yeah,
you see that the leadership team is not doing so well, it's most likely not the product that is at fault, but the
yeah,
people building the product.
yeah,
And it's
exactly.
very risky because if you don't know people, like you will just guess wrong and just say, I'll stay here and hope that he goes to this point at that point, and the team will just crash and everybody will just that's
Yeah,
that's that's another thing.
yeah, and there are certain red flags.
Ah, tell
There are
me the
certain
ones
red
you've noticed.
flags. Yeah, so I work for a couple of startups. So when startups, as a designer, yeah, like I said, the juice is very important. Yeah, the juice is very
The juice is very important. I need to write that down. Telling me you're spitting
important.
bars. Oh my god.
When they start delaying your juice, red flag, big one. Trust me. No startup that is very serious to delay your payments because they understand that you're putting in extra effort, and extra efforts deserve extra juice, right? So when they start delaying your juice, know that start asking questions like alpha.
Alpha. Waiting this so.
Right? Then the leadership, like you mentioned, is also very important. What coordination is going on at the back end? Be involved. It is a startup. This is not secret meetings. Yeah, they can have their
Yeah.
stakeholders in the background, but at least they should give you feedback like, okay, yeah, this is the stage you're at realistically,
Yeah.
and this is where we are going to be, where we are going to get into. Ask questions, right? And that's how you know the product. As of now, I can tell you the place we are at as being HR because the leadership have been able to communicate that with the people that are working for them. Two amazing front-end and back-end developer, full-stack developers. I'm the only designer. Then yeah, people work on the infrastructure too. She understand. They carry everyone along, right? So immediately your leadership are pulling back information. They don't want to tell you when they are going to MVP. They don't want to tell you when investors have started to talk to them. They don't want to tell you how much is coming in. They don't want to tell you where the company is going to be in the next 6 months, whether they are still going to have enough money to pay the staff.
No transparency.
No
It's
transparent. She understand, like, red flag. Be very, very pay attention to that, right? And when you are going into a startup, please always ask their long-term goal for your role, right? Some people just want a one-off design. She and the one-off designer, just design a product and get the fuck out. Some people they understand the value of a designer within the organization beyond just pushing out the initial products. They understand that design itself is an iterative process, right?
exactly.
So they want to keep you to continue to iterate on the products because they have a foundational knowledge of the product you are building. So you have to understand all these things and be able to pinpoint these red flags. If these red flags are there, please support law. Do you understand? Yeah. So and like I said, if you immediately you find that startup that you know it is what's like building a product for and it's going to be sustainable, please stay with them, build the products together. That doesn't stop you from hustling for other jobs. Trust me, I'm also hustling for other gigs as I'm working for a startup. Yeah. I'm hustling, it's not like I'm hustling for a full-time job like we did back then when we just started now. She understand. I'm working for an extra source of income that I know will not affect my job. Right. So that's also important. We don't have to get greedy. Not be everybody go make 1 billion naira from understand. But as long as it's a gradual process, right? Days will be good, some days will be bad. So we just have to learn that okay, this is a career space we want to grow in. We might as well learn the job. We might as well both the business aspect, the design itself, the communication with the development team, putting a team together, organizing a team. It's something you grow into. It's not something you just pick up one day and say, I'm now a pro. I want to be you have to like have that track record of building this stuff from scratch and seeing it scale, then picking up another one, building it, seeing it scale. Then you are confident that I've helped 2 startups grow. I've helped 3
to this
startups
point. Like I've spent 3 years in this product with this team, and I know how a team works. I know how to manage it, how to work between teams. I've seen people come and go. That is very important.
That's very, very relevant to the team. And my mentor made me understand that from a very early stage. So it really, really did help me to sit back, set my goals, and ensure that I'm in the right space. So
I say dope stuff. 100%. I'm on that page. Like I'm the kind of person that I want to stay with this startup for the next 3 years, the next 4 years. Not because of the salary. I know that if I change startups after 1.5 years, my salary will jump from like 100K to like $1 million because different startups will be paying you higher. But if you do that, it gets to a point where it's now not, you are not a safe haven for a startup founder who knows their shit. Because it'd be like, you stay here in the next 6 months and you're off, and you will leave us hustling for a new designer again. That's just horrible. That's bad. Because they look through your, they're seeing like 10 jobs and they see 6 months, 8 months, 6 months, 1 year.
And they now ask you on each of the 10 jobs, like, what is your contribution to this particular project? You can't actually point it out because
exactly.
It wasn't that you didn't grow to see it bloom.
Exactly. You just did it. It's like you just came, completed tax, collect salary, and move out.
So you have to like plant a seed, watch it grow. Sometimes it might not bloom on you. Sometimes they are late bloomers, but at least nurture it to the point where you know that my impact will continue to be on this product as a designer, and whenever you get to, you can speak about it and you're good.
Makes sense. My whole last thing on this topic is whatever it is, make sure the startup is shipping. Make sure they are
Yeah.
shipping out design.
Yeah, matter of fact, I've been bidding for gigs recently, and one of the main questions I keep asking everyone that I've been interviewed with is, when is your product going to ship? I don't want
Exactly.
I don't want to build a product that is just sitting on a Figma file somewhere.
I
And
hate it.
they are
It gets
saying,
me sad. Like, and I
I
don't
have
like it.
five, six of those products like that. Some they are going to launch, some they are never going to see the light of the day. So I like to ask that question now, like, okay, please, when
When are
is this
you
product going
shipping?
to ship?
Are you going
When,
to
or
even
what's your
ship at
plan?
all?
Are we even going to ship out? Don't just pay me money. Trust me. They just tell me, okay, I'm going to pay you 1.5 million naira for this project, and yeah, we are going to go to launch in the next year. Let me see, like, show us that okay, you're actually going to launch. Don't just throw money around. Don't waste your money as much as I don't want to waste my time.
I
So
swear. Don't waste your money. Let me not waste my time. If you're not going to ship, I know do. Honestly,
yeah,
that shipping thing is like is really important. Many people just miss it, and I don't like it at all. I don't like it when I build something that is just there in Figma. I just go back and look at it, and I'm like, oh Jesus, they pain me.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's all painful, and you don't want the original idea, so there's only little you can do
yeah.
with such work in your archive. Like it's just sitting there, nothing, useless, waste of time, waste of effort. So
It's
very important.
painful. It's painful. Yeah, I think that's a whole discussion that I would love to have again on like what to do at that point in time. When you design and you're not shipping, and like how to repurpose it. That's something a discussion I would love to have. We're coming to the end now. Our time is almost up. Would you like? What would you do? Those products that didn't ship. Let me ask you that. What would you do?
To be honest, I don't know. A friend posted something, and I think we have that mutual friend as well. That she designed something last year, and the design sold for 2 million naira this
Ah,
year. and, and it's
okay.
just design file, not it's just design file, not an actual product. This product didn't go into development, just a design file. Someone saw the design file, loved the product, and bought it for 2 million naira. So we pray for that kind of thing.
Let me go at DMR, like ask for details. Let me send my account details for offering.
Yeah, yeah. So, to be honest, except that kind of miracle happen, just keep the hopes up that one day the people you worked for picked up the idea again and built.
Yeah,
And now
it's so true.
there's something that is very funny when an idea stays for long before they go into development. Is by the time they want to pick it up again, they might want to iterate or rework some of the designs. So
Yes, yes.
at the end, probably they now give the contract to someone else. It doesn't look exactly like your design, but you have spent like countless number of
Yeah.
hours trying to build products that they are not going to end up with. So it's important that you ask that question, like, what's your plan for this design? I don't know how to design. And when you ask this kind of question, it gives the recruiter or the people you want to work with a perspective that this guy knows what he's doing, right? So ask that questions and hope to God that you don't just and it's just sitting somewhere in your design
Yeah.
file.
Nice. Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you, Pelumi. Guy, this was an interesting conversation for me. It
Yeah,
was.
I'm happy to be on not just design. So I'll be holding you to the 24 pixel shirt.
Yes, fine. No, if you see me anywhere, over my neck, drag me.
Yeah.
Don't worry,
Yeah, so,
I'll find it to send it for you this February or ending of February.
yeah, awesome. So it's been amazing being on not just design. Interesting
Thank you.
conversation. Yeah, and look to
Thank
be
you.
in the loop in the future. So
Yeah,
amazing thing.
yeah. That's thank you. So let's say your market now. If you are to introduce yourself out there, imagine like your potential, hiring managers, people looking for gig, people looking for mentorship, listening to this podcast, right? Are so many people. How would you introduce PelumiBot?
Yeah, I'm Bangwe Pelumi. I'm a product designer with a background in research as a graduate student. And I have an extensive knowledge in building SaaS products, software as services, and I also have a vast knowledge in go-to-market strategy, content development, and social media stuff. So I've built a couple of startups with founders, and I'm happy to work on your products this year. Very
I'm very sure people will reach out to you for mentorship. So, I will put your Twitter and link in the description.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'm still looking for my own mentor too. So so as they reach out to me, just know that we're all in the search for mentorship.
Yeah. Thank you very much for me. Honestly, this was worth it. Well, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to like having this conversation again in the future, having you on the podcast again in the future. It'll be totally worth it. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Wait. We have a question we ask people who do this, this our podcast. So today's quiz, I would have asked in the beginning, but I got carried away.
All right, that's fine.
Today's quiz is, tell me, what year was Figma created?
2011.
Make I go down. Let me say I know Sabiam. Let me say I know Sabiam.
2011 or 2008, somewhere between. All right.
Figma.
Figma, right? I'm going to cheat. Give me the permission to cheat. Figma created.
Hey, it's
That's a
Figma.
tricky one.
It was
2016. Wow.
2016. September 27, 2016.
Yeah, I said 2011 because I said 2011 because I knew it was, I knew it was sometimes around that time.
Yes. I know this scope. I use that before.
Yeah, no, like yeah, you can't catch us off guard like that. I mean, what's count?
Yeah, makes sense. So, by the way, thank you very much for sitting down. For people listening, again, this podcast is sponsored by Narration. It's a single platform that helps inform Nigerian youths. The link to the description is down. Honestly, recommend 100%. It's not just a sponsorship, but it's something I'm I'm interested in. I'm intentionally interested in because it's worth it. You can go to Narration to find out like latest news that relates with you as like a young Nigerian youth. And yeah, that's just by the way. Also, listen to their podcast on startup founder stories. Really interesting stuff. And with that being said, Pelumi, that comes to the end of the show. See you guys on the next one. The links to latest videos and other podcasts in the description. So yeah. That being said, that's all. I would end this recording.